Okay, welcome to today's lab where we're going to talk to you about a software program called Descript, which allows you to edit audio as though you were editing text. What do I mean? Well, let me just show you this real quick. Descript is a program that kind of took the world by storm in 2023. I mean, it's been around for a few years, but certainly it's done a lot of things. It used to be just for transcription and transcribing audio, but then it got smarter and smarter and more powerful and more powerful. And there's a lot it can do with audio and with video, but I'm going to show you right now the bare bones basics of Descript when it comes to editing audio. For you in the class, you're going to start an account, and it's a free account here, and it allows you to transcribe an hour's worth of audio per month. Of course, you can see all the things that it will do, which we're not getting into, but I do want to get into the software. Now, when I open this up, I will say it might look a little bit intimidating, because I have a lot of sessions and things like that. But your first time opening it won't look like this. And when it pops up, you'll see something like this. Yeah, you're using the free tool here, and you've got like a projects bar over here with status and some other things that you can do, and quick recordings and how to learn the software, which is really interesting, tutorials. But we're going to just jump right into it, and we're going to go to new. We're going to call it a new project. So I'm going to go new. For me, I need audio, so I'm going to choose audio project. And then we're in. I'm going to give this a name, so I'm going to call this Sit Down with Andrew. Andrew is, of course, the guy I did the interview with for my sit down and my show me interview for the profile. So I'm just loading the raw interview there. So we'll hit enter. And now I can just add my file. So it's right here, and you can navigate that way, or you can click the file and drag it over and into the project. Here's some dropping this audio file in there. And it had a really weird name, you know, with my recorder for Zoom. So I'm going to go ahead and do one thing first of all. I'm going to go ahead and try to name the speakers. So I'll tell it there's 2 speakers, and it's detecting the speakers. Okay, now I can identify the speakers down here. And it says, okay, can you just listen to them? Kids who are trying to learn the game, and I'm just going to put in the name, Dave.
Yeah, and a little bit, yeah.
Well,
Could you repeat the question, please?
yeah. Why did I choose badminton? Well, I chose badminton because
So once it's done, you just click done. And then here's the interview. I'm going to make this a little bigger. So here's the entire interview that I did. And you'll notice it starts right at the beginning. If you wanted to see the audio as well as hear it, you can go down to the status bar and drag this line up. All right, check testing 1, 2, check testing 1, 2. All right. Okay, so we are in, let me just put this into the sun real quick. So you can already tell that these little dots represent spaces. So let's cut to the chase. We only need 4 clips of audio to make this, to grab the actualities for this production. Now, if you remember from the lab, here, this is page 2 of the facilitated interview requirements. There are these 4 questions in green. And what you're looking for are just the answer to these questions. So we're going to go ahead and search for the answers in Descript. So the first thing, according to my notes, when I said, nice to meet you, he said, thank you for having me. So we're going to go Control F, and we're going to put in having. Let's say, oh, there it is. Thank you for having me. So everything before this, we don't really need. So we can do a couple of things. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to capture a little bit of silence here, by the way. This is not quite room tone, but you'll see what I'm doing later. I'm going to Control C that. All right. Now I'm going to take all this text here and I'm highlighting it. Now I'm not erasing it. Yes, you can hit delete and it's gone. Instead, I'm going to hit strike through. This is if you're working with an editor or a producer and they want to know what did you edit out from the original, because you can save this session, like this project here called Sit Down with Andrew. In Descript, you can share it with people just like a Google Doc, and they can see what you're editing while you're editing it, and they can see what you have edited depending on the permissions that you've given them. So here it is. This is all I need. I need his name. Now, you remember that little piece of silence that I kept? What I'm going to do is I'm going to say the next thing I need is just to put in a little bit of silence here. So I'm going to highlight this part where he's saying his name, and I'm just going to put in that silence. So I'm going to go Control V. All right, now I'm going to search my notes for the next of the 4 questions that need answers. So I said, why do you like the game or something like that? And he said, the pace. He liked the pace.
Paced game.
There
And
it is.
person.
All right, so here it is. It's a really fast-paced game. I think I asked these out of order because here's the answer to the previous question. What do you like about it? And he likes, it makes me feel like I'm really good at something. So it's just serendipitous that we saw this here. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight all the way up here, back all the way to the beginning, right after this ... and I'm going to go ahead and hold down Shift. I've highlighted all of this material that I don't need, and I'm going to hide it. So that's basically an edit. Anytime you see, well, anyway, you could see anytime that there's an edit because you'll see this little line, this little dotted line here, but you can see where there's been an edit, that little dotted line right there, that dashed line in front of the dots. You can see where there's an edit because of the strike through. All right, let's go ahead and continue with after this. Again, this is just kind of a bonus, 2 things at once. So the one question was, I like it. I like being really good at something. It's fast-paced. It gets my heart running. So this is kind of one answer. And then the next thing was, I think the 3 words. 3 words? Oh, no. It was, let me insert some space or some room tone here. It was something about San Francisco. That's good enough. Where was I born? San Francisco. Okay, here it is. So I don't need this. I need the answer to what does he like about his hometown. What do I love about living in Swanee, the town that he lives in? So I'll go ahead and highlight this, and I'll just go ahead and ignore this or Control Backspace, and it crosses it out. So there's the answer. It was chaotic, a little too chaotic for me. So San Francisco. All right, so then I'll highlight this, and I'll put in a little bit of spacing. And now I'm looking for the last answer, which is maybe satisfaction for the final question. According to my notes, the 3 words, and I know that one of the 3 words was either excitement or satisfaction, so I'm going to put in satisfaction. And there it is. So he stumbled for a while. If you were to listen to the audio here, if I click up here and hit space bar, you'll hear how he was struggling with this answer.
Satisfaction.
Oops. Let me go up here and play it from here.
However you want to describe it. So, but what it gives you, what it brings you, kind of like the reasons why you do it.
Okay.
It could be anything. It doesn't have to be Shakespearean.
Fast-paced, excitement.
He's quite shy. So I don't have to go through any of this. Now that I know his answer, you know what? I don't need this. And I can risk it and I can delete it, but my editor might not like that. So then I'm going to highlight here, and I'm going to go highlight all the way up to the previous answer. So he says San Francisco, yes, San Francisco. Hold down Shift and hit Enter, and then I can strike through this. So in one glance, I've got everything I need. So I've got my 4 answers from the sit-down interview. So I don't need this from Dave. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight from here, okay, all the way to the bottom of the page. I don't need any of this. And then I'll strike through, ignore. So this gives me a file that's 135. And just like that, I've quickly culled through all of my audio, but it works against my notes. But now the question is, well, wait a minute. How do I get this into Audition to mix it in a multi-track session? So here are the steps. Take a look in the top right corner, and you'll notice a button called Publish, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's give it a try. So you'll see 2 buttons up here at the top, Export and Publish. Publish if you wanted to publish directly to your CRM or your podcast tool or however you want to do it. But in this case, we're going to export it, and we're going to export the timeline, not the audio. We're going to export the timeline, and we're going to do it through the format called Audition. There's a lot of programs that you can use to edit audio. Probably the most popular one for musicians and some documentarians is Pro Tools. Then there's Audition, which we use. There's Reaper, there's Final Cut Pro, there's Premiere, and there's DaVinci. So we're going to export this with Audition. And once you hit export, it's going to give you this pop-up window here. Let me just show you. So this window, which is basically, all right, where do you want to save this? So again, nomenclature is really key. So I'm going to go to Audition, and then let's start a folder, and I'm going to call it, well, actually, I'll put it in with the facilitated interview. I'll put it in there. And then it says exporting timeline. And this should not take long at all. Once it's finished, it says open. And what it means, open in Audition. What it will do is it will create a parent folder with your raw audio in it, again, a copy, and then the multi-track session, as you just described. Now, when we open this, it'll look a little bit different, but it won't be too bad. It's one audio file, so there will only be one track in this session. Here we go. So this looks a little odd at first, but you can drag this down and you'll see this is the audio that we just culled. Let's go ahead and have a listen. So here's the first cut.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
What's your name again?
My name is Andrew.
There's the silence I put in to help separate these pieces a little easier.
Well,
Could you repeat the question, please?
oh yeah. Why did I choose badminton? Well, I chose badminton because I love how the birdie.
The best part about exporting the timeline is this tool of getting the audio back, it's still there. All the edits that you want, even your original audio file, you can get it, all this material back, because it's done it in a type of non-destructive way. So if you knew he said something like right before this and we missed it, you could move this over and you can drag this over and you'd restore it, just like you would in a regular editing session.
Started with thrilling.
Fast-paced, excitement, satisfaction.
So this is an easy way to go through your audio files and to edit, especially if you already have your notes and you know what you're after. In a case like this, you could save this file as sit down Andrew actualities, something simple like that. And then it's kind of like what we call a submix. And then you could take this and insert it into your multi-track session with all of the things, your voice, this sit-down interview, the parts of the show me interview, and then all of the sound effects and the ambience that you wanted to keep. That probably would be better not to edit in Descript because sometimes sound effects and ambi are really visual, and Descript sometimes skips over like audio blips and sounds that it thinks you don't want. It's only looking for voice. So once you've got all the audio and you've checked it and like, yeah, these are the 4 actualities that I need for my session, you can go ahead and just mix it all down. Hit A, mix it all down. We'll go ahead and do our normal thing. You can also do that later in post-production. And then you save it as. Save. And then I can more easily import that into my session later on. So that is my crash course into how to use Descript to quickly go through, find actualities or audio that you want, save it, how to export the timeline, and then how to open it in Audition, and you'll see it pops up as a session in a non-destructive way. So good luck as you step into Descript for the very first time.